up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
Don't let that team stand in the way. He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh, Graham Rucker for the touchdown. Graham shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
Off and rolling here on a Thursday. I'm Brandon Beam, hanging out with my guy, the Murph Dog, Patrick Murphy, and Rhyme Time behind the glass. Murph, happy football season to you, my friend. Christmas Day, that'll last all the way, hopefully, until mid-January. What's happening, buddy? Good to talk to you.
Yeah, it's a fun time. We talked last night. Excited for it. I did actually sleep more than I thought I would.
Oh, good.
As we were discussing. I woke up earlier. The dog wanted to go out, and then I was just like, screw it, I'll get up.
What time? What time are you talking about?
7:12.
Oh, Patrick, that's like a normal wake-up time for most of America.
Well, yes, I'm not most of America.
No, you're not.
But I got up, showered, went and got something to eat before I went over to the Woody. And yeah, probably a better start than just like getting up last minute, hurrying into the shower, and hauling over there to try and beat any parking traffic. The key tomorrow will be this is a little inside baseball, but they've changed the way we park.
Okay.
At any of the campus facilities, and now it's through the Park Mobile.
Yeah, the app.
Thing. It's not even really the app. We have a website that we have to go like put our information on, but you have to do it each day. I don't know if I'm supposed to be talking about this. It seems like things
it's fine.
Yeah, but instead we used to just have these hang tags that go on our rearview mirror, and I am 100% going to forget to do this tomorrow.
Do you want me to text you tomorrow?
That would probably be helpful.
I'll text you in the morning tomorrow.
Okay.
Pat, don't forget to put in your license plate.
But you're going to be out with buddies. So
I know.
You may not even be awake.
It's a getaway weekend for us, which is going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Mayor's going down to Hocking Hills. I'm going to New Philadelphia, Ohio, which I've never had the chance to visit before. It's the annual fishing trip with a severe lack of fishing. So everybody's excited for it. We got a great show lined up for you here this evening. We'll obviously react to everything happening, including the Edric Houston injury coming up just in a second. Tons of sound for everybody out there tonight. I mean, Ryan Day was all over the place this morning on these airwaves. T-Bone and Tyvis. He was on the Juice. He was on with Bishop and Friends. He even had a press conference, so we'll get to listen to him. And we'll listen to offensive and defensive coordinators Matt Patricia and Brian Hartline. Those guys are going to actually have media availability tomorrow for their press conferences. And I believe with Brian, some select wide receivers as well.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Jerry Emig listed them today. Okay. It's the main group you would expect.
Like a Brandon Innes, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate?
Yes, there are some others. I know the name that everybody kind of perked up for, David Adolph, who is not, unless you are really paying attention, you're probably not aware. But David Adolph's a guy who has some talent. Like, that's a guy who could go somewhere and play. They have a few of those guys in the receiver room, and I'm like, what are you doing? Go play somewhere. Like, I get.
Well, I'm sure that they would love to have him here, Pat.
Well, sure, but you get to get coached by Brian Hartline, which I think is the draw if you were a preferred walk-on type.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the name we're using anymore with all the changes. But
I don't know what the correct term is for preferred walk-on, but just one of 120 players on the roster.
Exactly. So, but there are a few of those guys that like you could definitely play at a MAC school. You could probably play at another Big Ten school. But I guess you get a few years with Brian Hartline and then see what happens.
Yeah, that seems to be like a pretty good path. So that's coming up tomorrow. Again, we got tons of sound for you. Your schedule for tonight, we'll listen to Ryan Day coming up in our next segment around 6:17. Spencer Holbrook of Letterman Row, he's going to join us at 6:30. 6:46, we'll do a defensive block, do some Matt Patricia, of course, College Football Pulse coming at you. Top of the 7 o'clock hour, more Ryan Day sound in the 7 o'clock hour as well. Tony Gerdeman of Buckeye Huddle at 7:30, and then we'll finish things off here in an hour and change or so from Brian Hartline, offensive coordinator here for the Buckeyes. You were out at camp, Pat, today, and I'll tell everybody this straight away. I went out to Buckeye camp. Me and Willie were able to make it. We got there around 8:45. Gates open at 8:30, and I told him all morning, I'm like, we're going to see the Buckeyes. Do you want to go see the Buckeyes today? Yes. I'm like, all right, we're going. Got him in his Ohio State shirt. We get in the car. He was super pumped, and we got there, and I said, who do you want to go see? And the first word out of his mouth was Brutus. And I'm like, all right, well, let's track down Brutus. And unfortunately, Brutus wasn't there today. He must have been busy. I don't know if he was doing some training.
He doesn't like the rain.
Yeah, he doesn't like the rain.
It's
but
tough.
Yeah, they have indoors, which they move practice to a little bit later. So he was not really that disappointed about that because he swiftly found you. And he
That
goes,
did
that's
happen.
Patrick. And then I said, well, where's Austin? Because he knows Austin too.
Right.
And then 5 seconds later, he tracked down Austin. Was like, there's Austin. I'm like, all right. So he got both of his guys that he watches me with on the YouTube stream, found those. And then for the next 45 minutes or so, we were hitting blocking sleds and jumping off of like small bleachers. So I didn't really partake in much Ohio State viewing today. That's why we have Pat, we have Spencer at 6:30 and Gerd at 7:30 to react to everything, because I was busy chasing him around. Your reaction, overall grand scale thing, number one thing that all Ohio State fans are going to ask, and we don't have any clarity on this. What is an update on Edric Houston? We don't know. There is a video that is circulating around the internet. I can't tell. I'm not a doctor. I don't even know what to say about that. I know that he wasn't putting much weight on it, Pat. He was helped off by trainers. Ryan Day said he hadn't talked to any trainers before he got to his press conference. We don't have an update on Edric Houston for you. If we get any in the next hour and 53 minutes, we will let you know. But I'm telling you right now, we will not get an update by then.
No, I don't think we will. I would be surprised if we get an update much at all. Obviously, we'll be at practice tomorrow, Saturday, so we'll see if Edric is out there, and if he is, it would be surprising if he's right back into practice on Friday, but stranger things have happened. So, well, I think we'll have at least some idea. Obviously, as you mentioned, we'll talk to Matt Patricia, so maybe he will give an update, though I doubt it. I imagine the new guy in the building is probably not going to be the one to give out any state secrets. Unfortunate. Look, we can't, regardless of whether he misses 1 day, 3 snaps. This is a guy who didn't play a ton last year. We know how talented he is.
He's awesome.
But remember, he was a defensive end this time a year ago, coming in as a freshman. So these snaps are valuable, even though we are projecting him as a starter. You want him out there. It's certainly unfortunate. We don't want to speculate, but even if he misses a little bit of time, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's not ideal, right?
No. And, I mean, you can compare it back to Tyleik Williams a couple years ago. Same day, first day of practice. Knee, I think, is what it was there. They put a brace on it. He kind of stood around, which is better than, Edric going back to the locker room. But Tyleik was back. He played the whole season. So let's hope that that's the same. But the positive side, if you're looking glass half full, think about last year with the offensive lineman, that illness that went through the room.
It was hand, foot, and mouth disease.
Yeah, and you got a bunch of guys reps that probably weren't going to get reps with the first team. Well, fast forward 2.5 months to October, you lose your left tackle, you're shuffling your offensive line. Fast forward another 4 weeks or so, you lose your center, you're shuffling your offensive line. Those guys all could lean on that time a little bit. You hope if Edric misses some time, he can come back, but now you have some valuable reps for other guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I don't know if we don't know if it's a 2-day injury, if it's longer than that. I'm not sure exactly when we'll find out. I'm not going to diagnose the video that I saw. I'm not a medical doctor, and I'm not in the business of doing that. So we'll find out when it comes out from Ohio State exactly what the injury is. What else did you take away outside of the Edric Houston news today?
Nothing with the quarterbacks. I thought it was.
Come on, Pat. Let's hear hot take.
I know.
Who's going to start?
I thought that's how you're going to open, was just like, all right, who's the starter? Let's go. Look, it was a lot of what we saw in spring, right? Julian Sayin had the best throw of the day. It was an over-the-shoulder throw to Carnell Tate. Lincoln Kienholz was probably a bit more consistent. Now, I will say, on his side of the field, or they would do these split field things,
which has to be such a luxury for Ohio State to be able to do.
Absolutely.
When you are running a very important quarterback competition.
Yeah, it's tough when you are a media member standing there trying to, picture it like a tennis match. Wait, this guy's going now. I got to turn this way. But Lincoln did have Jeremiah and Brandon Innes. Julian had Carnell Tate. So I don't think you can really read into that, but he did have some help.
I was reading on Twitter today. Well, Julian Sayin's taking snaps from Carson Hinsman during individual periods.
Yeah, they both did. That was kind of the point. But look, Ryan Day's not clueless on how this goes. He will make sure these guys get the reps with the guys they need. I think what the biggest thing is, now we have a base for fall camp and what it looks like tomorrow, what it looks like Saturday for those guys. I think if you can see improvements, that is what Ryan Day is going to be looking for. And obviously beyond that, when we're not out there.
Of course. And I mean, it's day number 1 as well.
Right.
And if you've ever been out to any sort of football camp, and whether it's high school, whether it's a college camp or an NFL training camp, like these first couple of days, Pat, it's pretty vanilla. It's not to say low tempo, but at the same time, like it's mostly fundamental stuff. and it's mostly like the base of your install continuation from what you were doing in spring.
Yeah, these guys aren't even in pads yet.
No.
You're in shorts and a t-shirt essentially. You got the shells stuff on for protection and whatnot. So yes, anything you're taking away from day one is probably an overreaction. Not always. There are some things that were out there. You saw a good amount of Jalen McClain and Caleb Downs working it together. And again, you don't want to read too much into that, but that's a tandem that a lot of people have projected. I thought Malik Hartford on the other field had some really good plays, though. So, and then the other thing with any practice is when one side of the ball does something, you're like, hey, that's really good, but that's not great for the other side. What does that mean for the
offense?
It was like Kenyatta Jackson and CJ Hicks, who were going up against the second string tackles, were giving Julian saying hell, but what does that mean about the second string tackle? Because you might need those guys, right? Or Phillip Daniels is a guy who we've talked about maybe being a guy to step up and win that job. So, it's always hard to read. What I will say is it was great to be back out there. And again, I think as we see tomorrow and as we see Saturday, then we have more and more information that we're building on.
What separates the Buckeyes when the talent is equal on the field? You're going to hear that from Ryan Day next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use law enforcement siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention. Like telling you if you get a speeding ticket, it doesn't end there. You have to pay expensive fines. You can't go to your friend's wedding because that also costs money. And your insurance rates could increase. See, we didn't have to use law enforcement sirens after all. Getting a speeding ticket has consequences. Sooner or later, speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
You can stream the game on your phone while you're gardening. You can stream it while you walk the dog. You can stream it at a trampoline park. You can even stream it at a monster truck rally. But the second you get behind the wheel, the game's over. Remember, Ohio, phones down. It's the law.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
For over 30 years, Schumacher Homes has been building affordable custom homes throughout the Buckeye State. Experience true customization on your land, your way, without any compromises. Come visit any of our 9 Ohio model home and design studio locations to see the latest in design trends and learn about our award-winning building process, or start online at schumacherhomes.com. You'll be surprised how affordable a custom home will be. Schumacher Homes, proud home building sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get 1 juicy flame grill Whopper sandwich, 1 original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
It's Kubota Orange Days. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs, get your perfect match delivered to your door. Now through June 30th, get 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months or up to $3,500 off BX23S tractors. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
Visit BuckeyeKubotaDealers.com to find a dealer near you.
When people lived to be 40, you only had one option for listening to your favorite show. But now, ooh, baby, radio, podcast, the Fan app, and YouTube, just to name a few, live or on demand. You have no excuses. The Fan.
The best outcomes for treating cancer come from early detection and early diagnosis.
The James Cancer Diagnostic Center at Ohio State
is designed to provide rapid evaluation and a clear diagnosis. We are transforming care by giving patients direct access.
The cancer experts who study and treat cancer every day.
If you think you have cancer, the choice is clear.
Choose the James Cancer Diagnostic Center.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Plenty of clouds, a bit of a breeze, a cool afternoon. Temperatures holding in the upper 60s as we go through this evening. Any showers tapering off. Skies clearing by Friday morning, down to the mid to upper 50s. And during the day, plenty of sunshine, light winds, and temperatures up near 80 in the afternoon. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
We're very close to Buckeye football. Very close. Uncomfortably close. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Inside a calendar month, close. That's right. Buckeye Camp Day number 1 coming up 6:30 this hour. Spencer Holbrook, Letter Monroe, he's going to join us. His biggest takeaways from what he saw day 1 of Buckeye Camp. By the way, listen to the morning that we have for you all tomorrow for day 2 at camp. The Juice was out there this morning. T-Bone and Tyvis was out there this morning. And then Bishop and Friends were out there this morning as well. T-Bone and Tyvis tomorrow, 6:15. Ohio State defense coordinator Matt Patricia is going to join their show.
I will not be awake at that point.
6:10 on the Juice on the YouTube stream or 10 TV Plus or HD3, Brian Hartline is going to join them. So dual action coordinators going at the same time for the Buckeyes. 7:40 on the Juice, Ross Bjork is going to join those guys. And then I would imagine swiftly after that, he's going on T-Bone and Tyvis. So they've got some very busy stuff going on. And then Ross Bjork is going to join Bishop and Friends at 9:30. But we're going to get some player sound tomorrow.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Smith and Sonny Styles are going to join Bo up on stage. So that'll be very cool.
That's a lot of things happening. Somebody better keep track of that.
That's right.
It's not going to be me.
Well, I will give all of the producers here at this radio station a very big round of applause today because we had Ryan Day on these airwaves multiple times, 3 times.
Yeah.
We had Matt Patricia on, we had Brian Hartline on, and then we had a Ryan Day press conference, and the fantastic team of producers over here cut up every single piece of audio that you could find from those guys from the shows today. So it'll be the same situation tomorrow. I mean, you know, only have the first couple of days of camp so often and broadcasting live. You got to get what you can get.
Absolutely.
So we'll have tons of stuff for you tomorrow, too. Day number 2 out at Buckeye Camp. I was listening to this and found it to be quite interesting. And Ryan Day, he was on, this is, I believe, is when he was on Morning Juice today. And he was just talking about all kinds of different stuff, really. But this one, I think, hit home the most, Pat, because a majority of the time when Ohio State goes to play against somebody else, they're going to be the most talented team on the football field, right? But when you get in those, and this has been a hot buzzword for the last couple of years.
Wait, let me guess.
Yeah.
Matchup games?
Yes, Pat. When you get into those matchup games, right? What separates a team from another team when the talent is around to being equal? And here is Ryan Day kind of explaining that.
I know, I don't think I can say that. I think both teams were talented. But like you said, you know, the experience of playing certainly makes a difference. And so what we say all the time is, you know, God has given us talent. What is talent? Talent is God-given. Certainly we have a lot of talent. I think when you look back on, you know, every team in the last 50 years at Ohio State, there's been talent.
Yeah.
It's our job to develop discipline and skill. Discipline is everything God didn't give you. Skill is what you need to play your position. And so when you combine really talented guys who have built this discipline in their life and learn how to play the position at a high level, that's when you have a chance to really do something special. So I mean, you've heard people say you control what you can control. That's what discipline's all about, what you put in your body, you know, your focus, your effort, how hard you go. your ability to stay in the moment. When we're in week 3 and we're in a walkthrough late at night, like how much are you actually in that moment, or how much are you distracted about what's going on behind you? Those are all the things that are going to matter, because every inch matters when you're playing an opening game like this. Every inch matters when you're trying to chase a national championship, because everybody else in the country is trying to do the same thing. There are other talented teams out there. What's going to separate us when we go in these matchup games where we don't have a talent advantage? And that's what we try to focus on all the time. It's one thing if we have a talent advantage against somebody. We should win those games. But the question is, when talent's equated, what is going to separate Ohio State? And to me, it has to be our discipline and skill.
Discipline and skill. Also, bingo card knockoff matchup game from Ryan Day, because he said it right there. And that's what these first few days of practice are really about, Pat. And again, discipline and skill. Like, we need to make sure that we're disciplined, and you want to walk that fine line, right, between being ready to go and knock someone's helmet off, but also not being able to cost your team a 15-yard flag, or being so in the red and not understanding really what you're doing and playing over your skis, right? There is a fine line to doing that, but that's what these next 3.5, 4 weeks are all about for these guys when they're in this camp setting. Now, it's a gradual ramp up. Mm-hmm. Today is nothing you'll see here, in 8 days, 9 days time, when you start to get into the heat of camp and you're tired of hitting people. It's a lot different, but I thought that was really good from Ryan Day. When it's not skill, when it's not talent alone, it is discipline and skill of what is being coached and what is being taught here.
He got asked during the press conference today about, is there a difference when you step into that huddle now as a national championship winning coach? Like, to the players, do you just feel the difference, like the respect, whatever it is? And, Ryan played it exactly like you would expect and said, look, our players, our coaches, we all have had respect for each other, and like, we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't, kind of thing. But a question like that, as we're listening, I'm thinking, now he has not that he could have answered that question last year exactly the same and been right, but now there's the things to back it up, right? You went against Tennessee, you went against Oregon, you went against Texas, you went against Notre Dame.
You have the trophy to back it up.
Yeah, there is that validation behind everything you say. And I don't know if he will admit to that. Maybe, behind closed doors they talk about it, but I think that really makes a difference. And even me just sitting here as a guy who's been a believer in him for a long time, has heard him talk a lot, that clicked with me of not only is he saying the right things, but he has the trophy now to back it up. And I think that's really important going forward for Ohio State. There is proof of concept, which is a term he uses a decent amount as well. Not as much as matchup games, but that
it's another buzzword.
Yes, it is. But for him, for Caleb Downs, for all of those guys that were key in that, the rest of the coaches, everything they do now, the players are going to look at them, or their teammates are going to look at them and say, you've been through it. We're following you to get to where we want to go. And I think that's part of what he's saying there is, you've got to follow that. And I think that's cool now that you've got that with a guy like Ryan Day, who had, not that I think the people that really understood it were questioning him, but there were a lot of questions about him last year before the playoff, right?
There were a ton.
And now he has the ability to go out there, say that, and everyone is going to listen to what he said.
How about the leadership element of this team? Don't need to go through all the draft picks Ohio State lost. Don't need to go through all the starters that Ohio State lost, and most of them actually just being draft picks. Here was him on the leadership and guys kind of being thrust into leadership roles. This was on Juice with Bob and Tito.
We had our champions meeting last night, and I've been very impressed with the leadership this summer. Mick would tell you that the leadership's been very, very strong. We use this thing, and Urban used to do it. It was called a 10-80-10 bell curve, where typically 10% of the organization's elite, 10% is falling behind, and then there's this 80% in the middle, and it looks like a mountain. It's a bell curve. And it's the job of the leaders and the coaches to push that bell curve, push that mountain towards the elite. I think we've done that. I think a lot of guys have made strides that way, but we need to continue to grow as the season goes on with some of those guys, especially some of the younger guys stepping up into these roles. But I will say I think the leadership's been stronger. You're hearing guys speak up, and that's a big part of any leadership. When you played, it was important, but now more than ever, because guys just aren't as verbal as they used to be, maybe because of the way that things are and the way the kids
because you live in the machines.
You live in the phones, man. But guys are doing it. They're stepping up. They're speaking out. They're having a voice, and it's okay being uncomfortable. Challenging your teammates is just showing them that you love them and that you'd rather challenge them now and be uncomfortable in this moment than have the regret down the road of failing. And so those are all the things that happen during the summer that nobody sees.
Yeah, and nobody does see that. Only he knows and the player knows, coaches know what's going on inside of that building right now. But for last year's team to finish the way that the season that they did, I could have very easily crumbled, right? I mean, after that Michigan game, and I know they had that one-on-one meeting where it was basically every starter and every player of contribution with Ryan, and they said, hey, listen, like if something needs to change, like that's leadership. And even when it comes to talking to your own coach, right? Like he talks about other guys, maybe older guys talking to younger players, come along with me, let's go, bring you along, bringing another guy along has always kind of been the motto over there. And this group is going to be tasked with that same exact thing. And Bob always used to say, right, like leave the room better than you left it. And that's always a task for these guys. So I'm excited to see who steps up, Pat, through these next 24 practices or so.
There was one guy today, and I believe that this guy's a talker anyway. He definitely is a talker. I'm talking about Davison Igbinosun, who is a senior. This is his third year in the program. He's obviously been a starter the last 2 years. I think he's gotten that reputation as like a trash talker, and we've seen that. But today, and maybe I just haven't seen this before, but when we moved into the indoor, we're right on top of the sideline there. And he is not only, talking his smack, but he's encouraging guys, grabbing guys, talking through things. Like, it was really impressive to see. As a senior, you've got to be that guy, especially a returning guy who's contributed quite a bit. But to me, whether or not I've missed that before, that's what you need to see out of guys, whether that's new or not. You need that. You're going to get that from Caleb Downs. You're going to get that from Sonny Styles. You need Jeremiah to continue. He talked about that at Big Ten Media Days, to kind of grow into that role and figure out how he's going to lead.
Brian Hartline talked about that a little bit earlier on T-Bone and Tyvis as well,
nice.
Which we'll get to in the 7 o'clock hour.
Yeah, so just having those leaders emerge, whether it's a young guy, whether it's an old guy, whatever, it's important. And I think they do, while it may not be names that the most casual Buckeye fan knows, I think they will soon, and they have those guys behind the scenes.
Spencer Holbrook of Letterman Row. He's going to join us here. He'll give you his biggest reaction for Buckeye Camp Day 1 with us here in 2 minutes. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Delaware County Veterans Services, here for those who served. Located on the ground floor of the historic courthouse in downtown Delaware, our team of veteran county veteran service officers is ready to help you access VA benefits, emergency financial assistance, dental and medical grants, transportation, and more. Need a ride to a VA appointment? Facing a financial emergency? Are you or your spouse simply looking for answers? Then give Delaware County Veterans Services a call. 740-833-2010 to schedule an appointment. Delaware County Veterans Services.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
Experience the ultimate gridiron experience at the Ohio State Football Training Camp, presented by Safe Flight, Bob's Discount Furniture, and Weber, happening at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center July 31st through August 2nd. Don't miss your chance to get the first look at your Ohio State football team. Bring your friends and family and dive into the excitement with inflatables, giveaways, and more. Tickets are limited, so get yours today to ensure you don't miss out on the fun. Visit universe.com/OSU Training Camp 2025 to purchase your tickets today.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Someone out there probably thinks we spend too much time talking about the Buckeyes. Please tell someone that they're stupid. You're listening to the Buckeye Show.
Hanging out here tonight with my guy Patrick Murphy. Right now we hang out. Or no, I was hanging out with you. We head out to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Check with our guy. He is of Letterman Row. He is Spencer Holbrook. Spence, thanks for the time, buddy. Always appreciate it. Day number 1 of Christmas complete. You got day number 2 coming up tomorrow. Day 3 coming up on Saturday. Overall, your biggest takeaways from what you saw on the Scarlet and Gray here this morning?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me, guys. It's hard not to gravitate directly toward the Edric Houston stuff, just because of how big of a piece he is. I ran a story yesterday called the 10 Most Important Buckeyes for the 2025 season. He was number 6, and it was a decision that was not made lightly, because I almost had him up in the top 5 just because of the turnover on this defensive line and the way that everything has shaken out this offseason, and the chatter on defensive tackle depth, and just such an important piece of this defense. And you really hope that it's not serious at all, and you hope that it's just a scare. And it's so hard to take an entire 2-hour practice and just say that was the defining moment, because there was a lot of good that I saw out there today, that Pat saw today, that you saw today too, Beamer. But
very little, Spencer, very little. I saw about 4 reps from the offensive line. I saw some receivers run some routes, and then we were jumping off bleachers and hitting blocking sleds. So you guys saw way more than I did.
Well, I'm glad you had a good day out there regardless.
It was great.
It is just difficult not to gravitate directly toward that Edric Houston news.
Spencer, did you decide who the starting quarterback was today?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think anybody wants me to pick.
And why is it Tavian St. Clair from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, the zip on the ball looked really good. I thought he looked a lot more comfortable than he did in spring ball. Is he going to compete for this starting job? Probably not.
Although, according to ESPN, that was the case. Because they were sitting down. Were they sitting down with Jeremiah? I saw a screenshot from Berm a little bit earlier on, and he was like, I guess ESPN has thrust Tavian St. Clair into this race. I'm like, okay. Yeah, that works.
We were having a little Letterman Row powwow lunch at Rooster's Fun Casual joint, and all of a sudden, I see up on the screen, it says Tavian St. Clair's battling Julian Saint. I'm like, oh, man, that's news to Lincoln. Because I thought Lincoln looked pretty good today. So, I mean, good for Tavian, good for Julian. But, man, we're just throwing Lincoln under the bus there. I did think Lincoln had a good day today, for what it's worth. I thought the best throw of the day came from Julian. The most consistent play of the day came from Lincoln. And then if you look at Tavian, I just think he looks more comfortable than he did in the spring, and that's just good signs for his progress. I think that's the biggest thing for this training camp, is just to get his feet wet, get him ready to play in garbage time at times this year, and see where it goes from there. But, there's so long to go before this quarterback. Ryan Day didn't even want to say a word about the quarterbacks today. And normally he can kind of cushion everything. And somebody said, how do you evaluate the quarterbacks today? And he said, no, I'm not going to do that. So it was kind of interesting that Ryan's just like, nope, we're not doing that today.
Spence, when I talk to people about this quarterback competition, I bring up Lincoln. So many people, not the people that are super dialed in, so many people are like, well, but yeah, Julian saying, we know he's going to win the job, right? Why is Lincoln Kienholz, in your mind, really in this quarterback competition?
I mean, it's interesting, but this as well as I do, Pat. Every time we're in there, you hear behind the scenes, well, Julian looks really good. Julian looks really good. But every time you're in there, you're seeing Lincoln make a throw, or you're seeing Lincoln make a good decision and be on time with things and run the offense well and score touchdowns. And then the spring game is the complete opposite, where Lincoln didn't look very good. And then Julian balled out in that spring game. And the sample size just kind of, it's so small for what a lot of people see. And that sample size is what they run with, and that's fine because it's what they see. And that was that Julian was the far superior quarterback, which I thought the day of the spring game he was. But today, a lot like some of those other days in the spring where it's just media in there watching and there's some fans or alums in there watching, Lincoln just has good, consistent days. He just strings together play after play that I think show that, hey, he can run this offense. He can be, a reliable guy under center. And I think Ryan Day is seeing the exact same thing. And Brian Hartline and the staff, they watch the film, man, and they know that when they need if they need just like a 4-yard throw, Lincoln can do that. And maybe he doesn't do everything spectacularly, but he's a gifted athlete, as we all know. He's a really good, I think he's a good processor of information. I think the Missouri game is kind of stuck in everybody's brain a little bit too much. Which is a problem, but, I understand it. It's the only time we've ever seen Lincoln really perform in a game, and it was not good, and I don't think it was his fault. He just wasn't prepared. But, yeah, he's right in this, and I think anybody who continues to think that it's just Julian's job and nobody else's, are in for a treat this next month, because it's going to be a good competition. I think it's going to go for a couple weeks now.
Yeah, and certainly doesn't mean that Julian Saint or Lincoln Kienholz can't be a starter. I think that's what competition is for, and If there's updates along the line, Ryan Day will tell you about that. That's what you're going to get as we check in with Spencer Holbrook of Letterman Row with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Defensively, Spence, who stood out to you today? What were you most intrigued in with day number one, getting to watch Matt Patricia's newish defense here with the Buckeyes?
Yeah, a few different guys. I thought that Bo Atkinson was really active, had a pass breakup at the line of scrimmage, looked really good, was in on run support. He looks the part of a guy who's spent multiple years in a Power 5 program already. Oh, because he has spent multiple years in a Power program already from his time in North Carolina. I liked what he saw. I think, the motor was there. I know it's a day one. Everybody's pretty amped up to be there, but you can kind of get a sense in those 11-on-11s and even the individual stuff. I just thought that he looked fluid. He looked good, and he looked like he wasn't out of place. And that's probably the biggest thing that you look for with the transfers. The other one that I really liked, I saw Malik Hartford make 2 plays against screens, just sniffing them out, getting up, making the play, tapping the guy on the hip where you're not tackling, you're not doing anything like that, but just kind of 2-hand touch. He's diagnosing plays really well so far, early in, and I think that they will see that on the film. Those are the kind of things that coaches can recognize when a guy just has a knack for making plays. He's going to get better when the pads come on because he's a natural killer back there in the secondary. He can just take people's heads off if you watch his high school tape. So I was really impressed with Malik Hartford, and then a young guy, because you always want to have your eyes on these young guys.
Oh, yeah.
And the first time that I've ever seen Epi Satanale, I thought he looked really good for a true freshman and his first practice. He was here in June. He didn't enroll early to be here in the spring. Looks the part, and he's 6'5", 245 pounds. He's probably not going to play a lot this year, but the future of that defensive line, everybody wants to know what the future is, and he looked pretty good for his first ever day flying around making plays on the defensive line. So.
Before Pat asks you a question, you just broke a ton of news to Ohio State fans that there was a guy named Epi Satanale on this roster. Like, I know that I know a lot of them out there know about Ohio State recruiting and are into that, but they're like, okay, that's another guy to add to the list.
Well, here's the problem, Beam, and I think one of the things that we all have to remember is 3 days after Ohio State lost to Michigan, when everybody still thought that the sky was collapsing on Columbus, Ohio, they signed a recruiting class. And not only did they do that, but in the very last hours of that recruiting cycle, they flipped Epi Satanale from UCLA. He's a top 200 prospect that everyone forgot about, and rightfully so because of how disastrous the Michigan game was. But, hey, when you get a flip of a top 200 from a fellow Big Ten program, it's something to celebrate, unless you lose as a 24-point favorite to your rival at home 3 days before. That's just happened to be how the chips fell. But, hey, we'll have a heck of a story to tell fans about who this guy is if he's good enough, once that time comes, because the flip didn't really get any publicity at all. So, yeah, Ohio State fans, there's a guy named Epi Satanale on this roster.
Yeah, and he'll have his chance to make his mark. Staying on the defensive side, looking at those 2 linebackers in Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese out there, it reminds me of some of the Bama groupings that they had, just the size of those guys. I know you didn't mention them in there, and obviously they're 2 guys that people know, but what do you make of those 2 in the middle of this defense this year?
Yeah, there are times where you don't ever want to say the SEC is better than the Big Ten, but if you remember back to those old 2010s like Alabama's or the Georgias of 2021 and 2022, if you see a guy who looks like they belong on those defenses, you got somebody really good. And I just, like you said, Pat, the size and the speed and the athleticism and the mobility that both of those linebackers have in Arvell and Sonny it's jaw-dropping when you see it in person. They just attack the football. I would hate to see those guys coming at me like that, on the field this fall. It's going to be scary. And, I thought Riley Pettijohn and TJ Alford looked good today, just moving around, getting in the flow of practice, things like that. Peyton Pierce, obviously, is a guy who's made such a strong move up the depth chart, but man, I don't think there's a better linebacker group in the country, from 1 to 2, but also from 1 to 6 than what Ohio State has. And I would put him up against Georgia, who's got, arguably some of the best linebackers in America too. So I'm really excited for those guys. If either one of them won the Buckeyes Award, I wouldn't be surprised just because of how good they are. We'll see how it goes. I want them to use them a little bit on the edge as well. But we'll see. I think that it's going to be a big month for those two to kind of carve their own path here, be leaders for this team because they can be, and then go into the season with a lot of confidence, and they should have.
By the way, I was reading the camp roster today, and I was just looking at how big they had Sonny listed and Arvell Reese listed as. Sonny is listed as 6'4", 243. And Sonny's a massive human being, and I know that you guys know that, but if you've ever been around him, you're like, whoa, you are rather large. Arvell Reese is also listed as 6'4", 238. So, Spence, I think you were totally in the correct there when you're talking about two monsters, and you wouldn't want to see them running downhill at you because they could definitely do some damage. Hey, before we get you out of here, you are the noted nephew of Aunt Karen Holbrook.
Absolute drunken orgies.
How excited is she to go out to Buckeye camp the next couple of days, Spence?
Well, yeah, no, it's not as much of a party when it rains. So, I think she would have appreciated that today. It was pretty tame out there. I'd like to see a little bit more of a party atmosphere. Maybe tomorrow and Saturday, get a little morning tailgates going before these practices. I don't know if Ohio State's going to allow that, but I think it'd be kind of fun. Go out there, get some breakfast on the Blackstone before Ohio State comes out to practice. I think it'd be a good time. So we'll see what happens. Aunt Karen, not a big fan of that kind of scene. I think she would have liked the practice today, like I said, because it's just nice and calm and tame, and everybody's getting the feel of things. But once it becomes an absolute drunken orgy, as you guys like to say, we'll see if she enjoys the next couple days of practice, because I think the fans could get a little bit more wild on Friday and Saturday. Maybe they got a couple Celsiuses in them. And they, because apparently the Celsiuses are a little more juiced up than they normally are, and the fans can have those and have a little bit of fun.
That's what we've heard. Well, thanks, Spence. Check in with your boy Andrew Gillis, because according to Twitter, Terry McLaurin requested a trade, so he may not be in a good spot right now.
Ooh, wow, yeah, former Buckeye News and Buckeye Beat News. That's good to know, Pat. I'll make sure to check in on him, make sure he's not needing to be shipped away.
Buddy, always appreciate the time. Enjoy camp here this weekend, and we'll check in again soon. All right.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
There you go. Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Row with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. As expected, Matt Patricia, he's playing to the strengths of the players on this defensive roster. You're going to hear from him coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
Whatever you're doing right now, just know that Bo Bishop is enjoying a sip of bourbon, even if this promo is playing in the morning. No judgment.
Sweet morning drinking.
The Fan.
Hi, I'm Rick Germain, and at Toyota West, we're having our biggest pre-owned sales event of the year. With over 600 new and pre-owned vehicles, Toyota West at I-270 and Georgesville Road has the car you're searching for. And during our Go Forth sales event, every pre-owned vehicle is discounted and comes with a 72-hour exchange policy plus a 3-month warranty. At Toyota West, you don't have to choose between a great experience and a great price. We deliver both. Come see us at the Germain Auto Mall on Georgesville Road or get started today at ToyotaWest.com.
Skyline is introducing a new chicken chili. Come get that world-famous Skyline flavor you love with a new protein option. Try the new Skyline chicken chili on Waze, Coney's, and all your Skyline favorites. At Columbus Skyline locations only while supplies last.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing, 614-NEW-ROOF, newmanroofing.com.
Attention Columbus. Town Properties just clinched the title of the largest residential property manager in Columbus, thanks to the Columbus Business Journal. With pride, we oversee 25,000 plus households in the Columbus metro area, ensuring fantastic places to call home. Whether you're on the hunt for an exceptional living space, a top-notch association management company, or a property manager for your multifamily portfolio, visit our website at town-properties.com and let us elevate your living experience. Town Properties, always managing great places to live.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Things are popping at Al's Delicious Popcorn. With over 80 flavors to choose from, we have something for everyone. From classics like caramel cashew, white cheddar, and our famous vanilla butternut to new flavors like chicken and waffles and spicy barbecue. They are all made fresh and they are all delicious. Visit us online at alspopcorn.com or come see us and experience the best service in town at 1500 Bethel Road in Columbus. Al's Delicious Popcorn.
Tita Green with Skip Mosick.
Saturday, we'll visit with OSU Hall of Famer Kathy Gehring. Plus, it's the final PGA Tour event of the regular season. We'll chat with SI.com's Gary Van Sickle.
Tita Green with Skip Mosick. Saturday mornings at 9 on The Fan.
Common Man here for Germain Lexus of Dublin and Easton. My guys at Germain are celebrating their biggest pre-owned sales event of the year. Tons of vehicles on the lot for you to choose from, and they're ready to deal. It's also the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event with rates as low as 2.99%. I was riding in my Lexus on one of our hot summer days, and I felt the crisp breeze of cold air on my cracky. Don't you want that for yourself? Of course you do. Germain Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
Your bathroom's got to go, the vanity's decayed, and toilet's really old. The bathtub's giving way. If that's our answer ring, call morning, noon, or night. You do not have to wait to get your bathroom right.
Call Baths R Us for your free estimate and enter to win our Christmas in July $12,500 bathroom remodel with an additional savings of up to $3,000 plus low to no monthly payments. 380-225-2284. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Right Way Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
We here at The Fan believe there's no such thing as too much Ohio State coverage. You're locked into the Buckeye Show.
We're here on the Buckeye Show, brought to you by our great friends over at Coors Light. When those mountains are blue, suckers are as cold as the Rockies. I may or may not have a large amount of them in my car right now in a cooler full of ice.
You may have had a large amount of them, but I arrived after you and happened to walk by.
Yeah, you're right. Did you pillage some of them?
No comment.
You're more than welcome.
Yeah, you got a big weekend ahead.
I do have a big weekend ahead.
I left you a couple.
Okay, thanks for that, Pat. I'm sure they sell beer up in New Philadelphia. It's gonna be a lovely place.
We'll see.
Yeah,
you'll have to tell me.
I will tell you for sure, and that way you can repay me beer by driving up there. So. Again, if you missed what we were talking about earlier on, we got a huge day for you tomorrow out at Buckeye Camp. T-Bone and Tyvis at 6:15. We'll talk to this gentleman who we're going to get to listen to, Matt Patricia. So if you missed any of it when he was on the Morning Juice this morning, don't worry, because he'll be on these airwaves again in the 6 o'clock hour at 6:15 tomorrow, right here on The Fan with T-Bone and Tyvis. Here is what Matt Patricia was saying with these guys. And Pat, it's something we've talked a lot through in the offseason, and a strength of Matt Patricia and the bevy of football knowledge that he brings, that, you know, he always talks about, like, yeah, you get to pick the groceries here, and talks about recipes and everything, and about his players. He's like, that's great, you know, but Matt Patricia's known for playing to his players' strengths. Like, that's what he really is good at the NFL level, and we'll see ultimately what it looks like here with the defense at Ohio State. You're number one back in college, but here was him opening up and talking about playing to the players' strengths that he has on his roster.
Yeah, you nailed it. I think my job as a coach is really to try to figure out what do those guys do well, how do I put them in position to do what they do well on the field so that they can play fast and aggressive, because then they're going to be productive. And if they're productive, then, you know, we'll be good on defense. So it was a lot of time through the course of the spring, even just watching them in the weight room, you know, seeing how they lift, how they run through the conditioning program, and trying to evaluate what are their strengths as an athlete. And then when we get on the field, and what do they do well on the field, communication, and obviously football IQ is a big part of it too. But that's really been important for me is it's not, hey, here's the scheme and everyone's got to fit into the scheme, otherwise you can't play. It's like, hey, what do you do well, and how do I get you to do that on the field so you can go play? Let's create jobs for everybody. Let's get as many guys on the field as we can. That's the fun of football to me.
He was just a continuation of what he was saying about getting guys on the field, and how it's going to basically keep the continuity from last year and what these guys know if they've already been in the system.
You know, we're always trying to improve, and we got a bunch of young guys, a bunch of new guys are going to be on the field that have to kind of step up into roles. You know, we lost 8 to the draft and on defense, so bringing in that next group, super talented guys ready to get on the field and prove themselves. So we want to keep as much same as we can, so there's continuity with the unit and with the stuff that's on the field. Maybe just a little bit different, kind of like, Bobby said in my meetings before, a little bit different teaching style, maybe just a little bit more conceptual, but the same sort of look.
Yeah, and again, I think Tim May was doing a show with me last week. I think for the majority, Pat, when you see this Ohio State defense line up, not to say that they won't get in some exotics, because I think every defense does, and they get into some interesting packages that maybe you haven't seen before. But when they're playing their base defense, I think you'll see a lot of similarities from what you saw underneath Jim Knowles. I think if you go back and then rewatch the game or watch the tape of it, there will be very small different wrinkles in it. But a majority of what you're going to be watching on Saturdays, I think to the naked eye, will look very similar from what you've seen the last few years with Jim Knowles.
Absolutely. And we've talked about it before. Like, yes, Jim Knowles came in and set up this defense, but it was because Ryan Day identified the defense he wanted, and Jim Knowles was the guy to go get to get that defense in place. And Ryan Day, being an offensive coach and a quarterbacks coach, offensive coordinator, like, he knows what's difficult to go against. So he doesn't want full-sale changes just because Jim Knowles walked out of the door. And that's why Matt Patricia, once we kind of processed everything, was such a good hire, or at least it seems that way, is he's done it all. You ask him to play one scheme or another scheme, he can do it because he did it in the NFL.
He can do whatever scheme that he wants to. Like, if Ryan Day was like, hey, I don't like the way that this is shaped or this defense is, like, let's go to a 3-3 stack. He'd be like, oh, okay. Like,
Sure.
we can find players. Let's go to a 46 front. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, he can do whatever. Like, his tendency in his background, like, it's a multiple defense. That's what he's good at. He runs different things.
That's what made the Patriots so hard to play. I mean, obviously you have Tom Brady and Bill Belichick as well.
Big piece of it.
But, you eventually add Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez and those guys. But defensively, they could just do so much. I mean, I think back to some of those Super Bowls that they were in, and just like, you're facing really different offenses if you go back and look at those Super Bowls, especially over the long haul that they were in. And I know Matt Patricia wasn't the coach at every Super Bowl win, but he did coach in 3 of them. And to manipulate, to morph your defense into what works and accentuate, like we've talked about, the strengths of the guys in your group, maximizing those players is going to be huge, especially when you don't have so many guys coming back like you did last year, where like, hey, these guys are good at this. This is how we're going to play. You think but you haven't seen a lot of these guys in real tough game situations, right? So you're going to have some different things you can do.
Yeah, and it's not going to be a fast ramp up for them, because he talks about one thing, and that is the fundamentals as they get rolling here at camp.
Well, we're kind of on a fundamentals train right now as you start the first day of practice, so it's hard not to think about tackling. It's hard not to think about, pressuring the ball, trying to turn the ball over, and just good fundamentals in general, defeating blocks. That's where we got to start. I know if we don't do those things well, we're not going to be very successful. You have to be able to tackle. You have to be able to get the ball down. You have to be able to defeat blocks in the run game, and certainly we want to turn the ball over. We know the turnover ratio is so important in the game, so that's where we're going to start.
And with fundamentals comes the installation of the defense, which is a continuation from what we've seen in spring.
We really finished up OTAs kind of previewing what we would start with for camp, because we know the camp schedule is going to go quick. We're up early. We're going to have quick meetings in the morning, hit the field running, and be right into individual and fundamental stuff. So I wanted to kind of give them a preview before we kind of just went right into training camp. So it was almost like we pushed as far as we could with the install and then stopped and then went back and kind of started over just to make sure that we started off camp fast and aggressive from that standpoint. So it's been good. That's why I said I kind of feel like, hey, we're just kind of moving forward. It's just the next phase of another practice.
You heard the NFL in there with him where he said it's not, well, he didn't call it spring ball, but just take a listen to the first 5 seconds of this again.
We really finished up OTAs.
It's a different title, but it's basically the same thing. Well, and to his point, Pat, it's like when you leave from school on summer vacation and then you go back to math class the following year, and what does the teacher do for the first week? Said, all right, well, we're going to go over what we learned at the end of last school year. That way we have a base fundamental knowledge of what we're going to continue to learn.
Yeah, and I think that's important, again, especially because you have guys. Again, if he'd taken over last year's defense, where so many of those guys were just, they'd already done it. You knew what you were getting. Now you're bringing in Jermaine Matthews. Yes, he's played, but he hasn't played from the start of every game knowing he's the guy. You're bringing in Arvell Reese. Again, played, but not in this role. All of these guys, you kind of have to go back to that, even if you wouldn't have done that with a more veteran group, just because of the group. And I believe he would have anyway, because it's always good to double down on some of those fundamental things and make sure that everyone is on the same page. They know what they're doing. And that's why you have this ramp up to the season, right? It's why you don't start the week before the game and just like, hey, let's go out there and play. Well, that's one reason at least.
Among many others.
Right. So I think it's good. And we've talked about it before. One of the things that impressed me listening to Matt Patricia talk to Ohio coaches at the clinic before the spring game was just kind of how simplified he can make complex things sound. And I know he talked about it in one of the clips about just he had to realize, like, he's not talking to NFL guys anymore.
Yeah.
Some of these guys are, just showing up as a true freshman, and you got to explain it to them the same way you do everybody in that room.
Let's take a listen to that one that you're talking about, how he's changed his coaching style from the NFL now to college.
I think when I walked into the room right away, for me, it was a reality check. I was looking at one of the players, and I kind of looked at him. I said, is your dad Duke? And he goes, yeah. I go, Mike, I coached your dad, And I looked at another player, and I was like, is your dad Mo? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I coached your dad too. So I think right away you flip into that mindset of like, all right, let's make sure I'm just being very clean and clear and concise with my communication so that they can go, do the job on the field that we need them to do, and really make sure I'm just starting at the bottom level, and not assuming anything. Yeah. Sometimes we'd be in an NFL room and I could say a word, guys have heard it before, they know what that technique is or they know what that coverage is, that concept, and you're moving right along pretty fast. I'm really trying to be conscious of making sure that I'm not going through too much of that without making sure that everyone's on the same page and understands.
That's what makes a good teacher great, right? I mean, I don't care if you're talking about football. I don't care if you're talking about math or science or whatever you're learning, like making sure you're bringing everyone along and and you know who your audience is. You can do that in the NFL. You can just fire out buzzwords and coverages and say Viper randomly. It's like, okay, I know what that means.
Omaha.
Yeah, you could say Omaha. Like, I don't know what that means. I play defense, coach, not offense, but I know that that's a kill check. But it's not. It doesn't sound like he's doing that here at Ohio State, at least so far. Now, when the guys get up to tempo and speed, maybe we will probably see an accelerated path. But so far, to start camp, it seems to be pretty slow. We're only one day in. We got 24 more of these left to go. We got a new rule change in college football concerning NIL stuff. How long will this one last? Nobody knows. We'll get into that next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Now open. Zumbizi Bay's brand new conservation tower. 3 slides, 1 tower, and endless thrills. Only at
Zumbizi Bay.
Plan your visit at zumbizibay.com.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
At United Dairy Farmers, peach is our most popular ice cream. And once you taste it, you'll know why. Right now, get 2 48-ounce cartons of UDF peach ice cream for $10. It's only here for a short time. UDF peach ice cream, made for you.
Experience the ultimate gridiron experience at the Ohio State Football Training Camp, presented by Safe Flight, Bob's Discount Furniture, and Weber, happening at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center July 31st through August 2nd. Don't miss your chance to get the first look at your Ohio State football team. Bring your friends and family and dive into the excitement with inflatables, giveaways, and more. Tickets are limited, so get yours today to ensure you don't miss out on the fun. Visit universe.com/OSU Training Camp 2025 to purchase your tickets today.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. we're reimagining healthcare.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus, The Fan. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good evening. I'm Jacob Reimer. The Ohio State football team had their first practice today, getting ready to attack this season as defending champs. Ryan Day believes his team has their own identity.
I think this team, has their own identity. They want to have their own identity, yet they also want to be the first team ever to go win back-to-back national championships at Ohio State. And that's going to start with the first game against Texas.
Defensive lineman Edric Houston left practice today with a lower leg injury, his status unknown. The NFL preseason officially gets underway tonight with the Hall of Fame game between the Chargers and Lions. Kickoff is at 8 o'clock and can be found right here on The Fan. Also in the NFL, wide receiver Terry McLaurin has requested a trade from the Washington Commanders. The former Buckeye has been seeking a new contract extension this offseason and now reportedly wants to go to a new team. In baseball, an off day for the Guardians. The Reds are at home beginning a series with the Atlanta Braves tonight. First pitch is here at 7:10. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
It's time for the College Football Pulse on the Buckeye Show.
Sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Second hour for us here on a Thursday. Day number 1 of Buckeye Camp in the books. We also got live football tonight with the Hall of Fame game up in Canton. Reimer just said in the update that Edric Houston's status is unknown. We have an update, actually. We have an update from an update. So I said at the very beginning of the show, we likely will not have an update for you tonight. I was wrong. Pete Thamel, ESPN, he just tweeted this out. Sources. The lower body injury sustained in practice earlier today by Ohio State projected starting defensive tackle Edric Houston does not look like a long-term injury. The early results are that it's not considered serious. That is, if what's being reported is true, that is just fantastic news for this Ohio State football team.
Yeah, it's just like we said, don't worry about it. That's what we said off the top, right? Yeah, and Spencer didn't even want to talk about it.
No, he didn't.
No, so
I didn't really want to talk about it either.
Yeah, we knew the whole time. Oh no, that's real good. And look, if there's anyone who is going to have that information from a national scene, it's going to be Pete.
Yeah,
he's a guy that at times we have to battle with on when we can release the availability report that Ohio State puts out every Saturday, because he tends to get some of the bigger name ones and we'll put them out on game day before we're allowed to release. It's like, well, what's the point now? So he knows what he's talking about, and that's really good for Edric. Hopefully he can be back in practice as soon as possible.
Yeah, exactly. And I no clue if it's going to be tomorrow or if it's going to be on Saturday. Sure. No idea what the no idea what the injury even is as well. So that's huge news for Ohio State that it is not serious. Again, I don't know if it's going to be a couple of days, if it's going to be a week, what it's going to be, but not considered long-term in that news from Pete Thamel. So thanks, Pete, for that. By the way, other Buckeye news, this one pertaining to the NFL. Reimer said in the update, Terry McLaurin has requested a trade. Shefty tweeted, over the past 2 years, at least 3 wide receivers have requested trades. T. Higgins, Deebo Samuel, and Brandon Ayuk. None were traded in the year in which they made the request. McLaurin is now the latest wide receiver to seek a trade when failing to land the contract that he wanted. Obviously, it's a strong negotiating tactic. We saw Myles Garrett do this in the offseason. We have seen Trey Hendrickson. Has Trey Hendrickson requested a trade, or is it's just been kind of like, I want a new contract? Yeah, I feel like he did too, somewhere like back early in the offseason, and then they're kind of working towards that. Obviously, the Terry McLaurin situation is a lot different. Like, you are in a win-now mode with Washington. You saw what they were able to do last year. Jaden Daniels had an unbelievable rookie season.
Oh, yeah.
And Terry was obviously a massive part of that and was one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League last year, had an unbelievable run in the playoffs. It's the strongest thing you can do to an organization on the negotiating table is to request a trade. But I can guarantee you one thing, there's probably about 28, 29 teams across the NFL that are calling the Commanders as we speak right now.
Well, I think there are probably close to that many a number of teams who have already made inquiries previously.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw one of the Washington Commanders beat writers said basically that teams had been inquiring and the Commanders have basically said,
what's John Keim saying? What's our guy John Keim saying?
That is who. Well, I couldn't think of the name off the top of my head.
He's a Buckeye, John
Yes,
Keim.
he
Did
is.
you know that?
Yes, I did. I've talked with him about the Buckeyes. But yeah, I imagine that this probably plays out the way that those other ones that Adam Schefter mentioned do. Whether it gets Terry the contract he thinks he deserves, we'll see. But I would be surprised if he ends up on another team as soon as this season, especially with how close we are to this season. But stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened. And Myles Garrett signed a contract extension like 2 days after he requested a trade. Right. So that happened pretty quickly. Now, we have seen things on the other side go very awry, Pat, and teams obviously trading them. So we'll see what happens in Washington. Maybe in Beers and Buckeyes, if we're calling a random guest tomorrow and you're going to be out, those guys should just call John Keim.
Just call Terry.
Do you think John Keim would pick up the phone right now if I gave Reimer his number?
Well, probably not right now, given the news just broke. But
his phone he might just be going on ESPN at any second.
Right. So maybe another time. Yeah, I think he probably would. He seems
hypothetically, what would you trade away for Terry McLaurin?
A lot. I mean,
well, you got your guy Devontae Adams this year, though. Pat is a Rams fan, if you don't know that.
Yeah, I don't think the Rams will be in play here.
Is it a DJ Moore package?
No, it's not, because the Bears got the number one pick in the draft for that.
Take out the number one pick, I guess.
I don't know.
I mean,
no, it's not that much. That was a
lot of picks.
That was a crazy trade.
But would you take Jeremiah Smith over Terry McLaurin? That was our topic yesterday.
Yes, I would. What do you give it up for? A second?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. A first and a second?
If I'm Washington, I'm asking for the DJ Moore trade.
Yeah.
Because where you are right now, you don't, I mean, not that you're trying to build for the future with picks and things like that, but like, you can't lose Terry when you've got a quarterback who's on a rookie deal playing as well as he is. I think you ask for that, and ask for anything you can get. You shoot for the moon if this gets to a point where you really need to make a move.
The DJ Moore trade, the Panthers, as part of a larger deal that sent the number one overall pick, NFL draft pick, to Carolina. In return, the Bears got DJ Moore, the 9th overall pick, a second-round pick, a first-round pick in 2024, and a second-round pick in 2025. That's not happening again. It's not.
No, I don't think so.
No,
that's not. I mean, that's just. That's like a Jeremiah. That's what you trade for Jeremiah Smith.
Hypothetically, if he was allowed to be in the NFL currently. Yeah. Reimer, what do you have for us tonight on an abridged college football pulse edition? Because we had some news we needed to get to.
Well, did you hear the other big news?
What was the other big news?
Davidson and Washington State scheduled a home and home.
Man, nobody cares about that.
In college basketball.
Nobody cares about that.
That is awesome. The alma maters of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, the Splash Bros. It's incredible.
It'd be cool if they were still teammates.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's
the college football pulse. Maybe when we get closer
I had to get some A10 in there, man.
I did see the Dayton Flyers released a hype video today, which I watched. I don't know why.
So, according to Pete Nakos, the College Sports Commission released updated guidelines to schools today allowing booster-funded NIL collectives to push deals through the NIL Go clearinghouse. The clearinghouse will treat NIL collectives as a typical business, but the organizations must conform to the valid business purpose requirements in the house settlement. Earlier this month, the CSC's guidelines stated that NIL collectives could not directly pay athletes. How big is this quick change in the CSC?
Well, I mean, it ebbs and flows, doesn't it? Because we got the ruling a couple of weeks ago before the executive order came down that brought NIL collectives back, and then the presidential order kind of stymied NILs, but now the CSC has agreed to this, which brings NIL collectives back to the fold. It's exhausting, and I'm sure that Mark Pantoni is now all over this news, and Ohio State staffers who work in the athletic department can see this coming down the pipe. I don't know what this means. Don't get me wrong, I do know what this means, but I don't know if this is going to stay the same rule for 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 2 decades. I don't know. I have no clue because everything is in such a state of flux with lawsuits and Congress getting involved and everything. Pat, I really don't know exactly what this means for the future of college athletics.
No, not at all. And look, I think the NIL Go thing hasn't gone smoothly. I think we can say that. Mm-hmm. But I think
NIL stop.
Good one.
Thank you.
I think the idea there behind it is to just prevent the pay for play model, right? Where you are, these have to be legitimate deals that you're signing where you are endorsing something or whatnot. You're not just Ohio State's going to use a third party to pay somebody to come play for them. And I think the idea there is right. But how do you enforce it? How do you do all this? It's been a mess to start, and we're only
bring your brooms
a month in.
It's a mess.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what. Look, I think it's good that these kids are able to get this money, no doubt about it. And I think this was a little bit of trying to put the genie back in the bottle, and it clearly has not worked.
No. College Sports Commission CEO Brian Seeley, the College Sports Enforcement Officer, made clear that the CSC will not slow down its enforcement of NIL collectives. The College Sports Commission will enforce the settlement as written. Pay for play will not be permitted, and every NIL deal done with a student athlete must be a legitimate NIL deal and not pay for play in disguise. I don't know what it means. It could change again tomorrow. It could change in 2 days. So best of luck to everybody over there at the Ohio State athletic staff and around the country that get to deal with this on a daily basis. Ryan Day wants someone to grab this quarterback competition and never look back. You're going to hear from the coach coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. Did you know their co-founders are Ohio natives? It's true. With over 15 years replacing windows in the Columbus region, Window Nation knows what windows work best for Ohio homeowners like you. And right now you can get 50% off all window styles and no interest until 2030. That's right, 0 interest for 5 years. Take advantage of the best deal of the year. Plus, get 1-day installation with Window Nation. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com for your free quote.
Common Man here. I want to tell you about my guy, Bob Capace, owner-operator of Worthington Jewelers for the past 25 years. If your only experience is going to the mall for jewelry, Bob and his team will blow you away. Service, quality, and a great price. The store is busy all the time because people keep coming back. True story. My 8-year-old daughter says to me, "When can we go see Mr. Capace again? He's nice." Yes, he's nice. Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com.
The future of recycling is now at Rumpke Waste and Recycling. The recycling leader has opened North America's largest, most technologically advanced recycling center right here in Central Ohio. This one-of-a-kind facility features interactive displays, educational opportunities, and the ability to process over 60 tons of recycled material per hour. Rumpke is committed to recycling and sustainability efforts. And for more than 90 years, Rumpke has worked to make sure the items you place in your recycling bin get used again. Visit Rumpke.com to learn how you can team with Rumpke to put less trash in our landfills and more of it to good use.
Experience Buckeye Game Day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
The Donato's $5 Pizza Pals menu is adding some pals. Donato's savory and delicious family recipe meatballs are now on the Pizza Pals menus, along with new Oreo twists. Sweet, delicious pull-apart twists with real Oreo cookie pieces drizzled with vanilla icing. You can order unlimited $5 Pizza Pals with any large pizza. So order today and load up on all the Pizza Pals you want. Donato's, gotta love more.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, community banking is the lifeblood of the American financial system, building strong, lasting relationships. We're just better able to help guide you down life's road. Flexibility is paramount to success. Community banking is alive and well in the Heartland. I'm Scott McComb. Come on over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Join our resident gambling degenerates Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas for On the Money Sunday morning at 9.
Presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
All the action, none of the responsibility. The Fan.
At Kroger, an annual Boost membership is better than ever. Save up to $1,100 each year on gas, groceries, delivery fees, and streaming options. With double fuel points, unlimited free delivery, and exclusive savings for members, there's so much to love about Boost. Sign up for a Boost membership today. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Experience the ultimate gridiron experience at the Ohio State Football Training Camp, presented by Safe Flight, Bob's Discount Furniture, and Weber, happening at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center July 31st through August 2nd. Don't miss your chance to get the first look at your Ohio State football team. Bring your friends and family and dive into the excitement with inflatables, giveaways, and more. Tickets are limited, so get yours today to ensure you don't miss out on the fun. Visit universe.com/OSU Training Camp 2025 to purchase your tickets today.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Plenty of clouds, a bit of a breeze, a cool afternoon. Temperatures holding in the upper 60s as we go through this evening. Any showers tapering off. Skies clearing by Friday morning, down to the mid to upper 50s. And during the day, plenty of sunshine, light winds, and temperatures up near 80 in the afternoon. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
All Buckeyes, all the time. You are listening to The Buckeye Show.
Hey, coming up tomorrow, it's a big day for us. Going to be back out at Buckeye Camp all the way from 6 to noon. Ross Bjork going to join both Morning Juice and T-Bone and Tyvis. And then he's going to join Bishman Friends as well.
Busy day for Ross.
Yeah, busy day for him. Also busy day for Brian Hartline and Matt Patricia. Brian Hartline went on T-Bone and Tyvis today. Matt Patricia went on Morning Juice. They're swapping tomorrow.
Wow.
So we got all kinds of Buckeye coverage for you here. A little note for tomorrow's show. I won't be here. Pat, you won't be here. No. Austin and Berm are going to be hosting the show tomorrow.
That's just going to be.
He's texting me right now. Austin is. And he said, having me sit in your chair for the first time with Berm across from me doesn't sound like a recipe for hitting the clock at all.
No.
And I said, you know what, Austin, the clock is just a figment of your imagination. It doesn't matter. They're used to, obviously you are too, like used to doing long form stuff where you don't have any breaks or you need to hit your out times. So tune in tomorrow to one, hear those great guys breaking down day number 2 of Buckeye Camp, but also to hear them break extremely late. And then at the end of the hour, try to cram like a 4-minute segment in before having to go to another break.
Yeah, I may. I will also be down the Hocking Hills, not with your wife though. And
I hope not.
No, but I will. I may have to just turn that on just to hear them go for it. You just may get one long show with no commercials.
Well, here, if you were gonna do that, what they should do is just go for. Just do basically like 45 minutes and then just play commercials for 15 straight minutes into the 7 o'clock hour and then do the same, or 6 o'clock hour, and then just do the same thing for the 7 o'clock hour. That's what they should do.
Yeah, why not?
It's a good thing I don't think there's a hard out or anything like that they need to really hit.
Yeah, I mean, hard outs, some people struggle with it, including me. Yeah, I think we're going to ESPN Radio tomorrow, right? Because the Reds play a day game tomorrow against the Braves. So we're not going to a Reds broadcast. So all in all, it doesn't really matter.
I just want to give you credit. At the last Yogi's, which was a couple weeks ago, you hit the hard out, and we don't have a clock at Yogi's. We have a clock in the studio that counts by the second.
Yeah.
But I was watching on my watch. You hit it within 2 seconds.
And I didn't even have...
No, you had nothing.
I had nothing to show that. And if you're asking yourself, what is a hard out? So like anytime we go to the top, we want to hit closest when we go off the air locally at 7:00, or like anytime there's a Blue Jackets game or jumping into an Ohio State football game, like anything that is on, a network, we want to join it right at, and take example for tonight, like 8:00, like right, we're done at 8:00. So our hard out is like 7:56:40. So you have to end the show right on that number, or else it sounds wonky going into your next broadcast. Sometimes I hit it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't really care about it.
You hit it last night.
If we're going to ESPN Radio, I did hit it last night.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't even in here last night. How did you know that?
Okay, wait. No, I was in here when you did it.
I did it last night, too.
I think when you guys were out at Yogi's, I think you got it.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
I didn't even have the second clock in front of me. Look at me go. I'm proud of myself because I have called the Columbus Blue Jackets something else when trying to hit a hard out. And if you know that joke, then a big congratulations to you. I'm not playing that audio for you tonight. There is another show on this radio station that continues to play it years and years and years later, when I was first getting my introduction to hard outs in radio. So, so Austin and Berm will not hit their hard outs tomorrow, but they're going to be doing the show. Ryan Day, all right, he was on all kinds of shows a little bit earlier today talking about his roster, and we heard about Pat in the 6:00 hour, leadership and culture and kind of what that is like. And here was Ryan Day. We'll do, some quarterback discussion, Pat, because we have to. It's day number 1 of Buckeye camp, after all. So we do have to talk about the most important position, and it being a quarterback competition here at Ohio State.
Of course.
Wants to have a guy by the Texas game.
You want to have a guy going into that first game, and we want someone to pull away and win the job, and then kind of goes from there. But you remember a couple of years ago, Kyle was ahead coming into camp. Devin pulled ahead for like 2 weeks, not 2 weeks, but for a little bit of time, and then Kyle kind of ended up starting that first game against Indiana, and then that kind of continued through in practice all the way throughout the first really quarter of the season. Last year, I think the locker room knew Will Howard was our quarterback, and that was and sometimes with the locker room, so we're going to need everybody, but hopefully in the first game we're playing one quarterback, and we know who our guy is.
Yep, that was on Bishop and Friends. Let's just continuing the trend, because all 3 shows had Ryan Day on this morning, and all 3 shows asked him. Here is Ryan Day's answer from T-Bone and Tyvis on playing 2 quarterbacks in the quarterback competition.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's not the idea. Now, if there's a situation where nobody emerges, and you get put in that situation, we'll have to decide that going into the first game. But ideally, you want one guy going in the game. I've been part of situations where you have a starter, and then you have somebody come in and play a series, like to start the second quarter, things like that. When you're playing a game like this coming out of the gate, that's not ideal. But it's their responsibility to win the position. There was a situation we had Kyle McCord and Devin, and the truth was that Devin was ahead of him for about 3 or 4 days, and then all of a sudden Kyle clawed his way back, didn't quite win the job, and then sort of won it in the first quarter of the season, and it kind of went from there. Last year with Will Howard, the locker room knew that this was our starting quarterback, and typically the locker room knows, and so it's their job to pull themselves away. But the cool thing this year is there's only 3 quarterbacks. Last year there was 5, and all those reps were getting spread pretty thin. I mean, these guys are going to have a good body of work.
Kind of the same answer right there
Yes.
from him, but also too, given the very different situations, Pat, from last year, and bringing in Will Howard, and us just assuming that Will Howard was going to be the guy, and just the talk around him, you figured that was going to be the case. It's not this year. And your observation, like they've been doing split fields for a couple of years now. Like both of those guys, and even if Ryan isn't watching them like one-on-one live in practice, and I know he's popping, back and forth between fields and whatnot, but all of those reps are broken down in film by a very small minutia. Like everything is reviewed by him, by the offensive staff, by Billy Fessler, like every single rep, every practice rep,
where your foot is,
like individual drills, like take the snaps, everything is broken down in great detail. So even if he's not seeing it in live time, I would assume that there were many of hours spent today, even just day 1 of fall camp, breaking down the quarterbacks for them.
For sure. I mean, when these guys go into the film room afterwards, and it's not just quarterbacks, we're talking every position. Yeah. I mean, you wonder what coaches do when they're not on the field, and they're doing this all off. I mean, they spent the summer going back and reviewing every spring rep, so it's nonstop. But especially for the quarterbacks, and especially when you have a competition like this, not only do you need to evaluate these guys in terms of who's going to be your starter, but you need to help each guy get better, right? So you are looking at, okay, he's here, but also he needs to improve on this. He needs to, whether he's...
And both different guys are going to have different things that they need to improve on, and that's where the coaching aspect comes in.
Exactly. And even Tavian St. Clair, while you are focused on these two that are competing for the starting job, that's a guy that needs to be ready. We've seen it before. 2014, that third quarterback had to be ready in Cardale. So, this is look, if Ryan Day could name the starter in the spring, obviously you have to worry about guys transferring.
I don't think he's ever done that.
He is not. But if he
until the second year of CJ and Justin Fields.
Well, right. When you had a returning guy. Yeah. But if he could do that and not have to worry about guys transferring, he would, because it would take a lot of this stuff out of it. Yes, you still have to work with these guys and help them improve and all that, but you wouldn't have to be comparing and contrasting and all this. So it's not an easy decision. I think, I can't explain to people. That's why I asked Spencer to do it.
We'll ask Gerder coming up in a few minutes.
Yeah, this is a real quarterback competition. It may be the closest it's been. He brought up Kyle and Devin, and that was probably the closest before then. But even then, I always just, as we got to the season, you saw Kyle play the snaps. Devin got in a little bit, but clearly that Kyle had won something there. With this, I don't know. I watched the guys... talk about breaking things down. I watched when they went to a huddle before practice really got going. They'd done some snaps. I watched to try to tell, because it was the closest we got to the quarterbacks all day, try to tell who ran the huddle. And both guys talked. It was a clear effort by both guys. You put your hands in and everything. And I couldn't hear what they said, but it was ooh, see if one guy's got command. Nope, they both have it. So, again, it's both guys are right there.
Whatever Ryan Day wants to see, the good news is that they will be getting mostly equal reps, and he was on the juice talking about that.
The only thing I'll say is, they're all going to have to be ready to play.
Yeah.
I think last year when we had 5, it was hard to get everybody reps. This year we're going to be able to get all 3 guys reps. You'll see today that we'll be going on 2 fields for the first 3 days. And when you go on 2 fields, it's important to get these reps. During the summer, we're lifting, we're doing different things. Guys are throwing routes on air, but that's not real football, as you guys know. So we're able to get 48 plays in a 14 or 15 minute period based on 2 different fields. We're going to go 2 groups on each field, so you're going 4 groups, and now we're rolling.
Yeah, which is ultimately it's a really good thing, and they've been able to do that for the last few years. Pat, was it 3-4 years ago? Maybe it was the Kyle and Devin year where they first started to do the split fields in that quarterback competition, because the last couple of years before that you had CJ, so you didn't really need to do it. You wanted your guys all to be working at the same one, but most important position on the field as a football player is going to be quarterback, so you got to get them the most reps that they can possibly get on tape before anything is declared.
100%. It's been great for, not only quarterbacks. Everybody is benefiting from the fact they do this, but in talking about the quarterbacks, you get, they literally are running the same play on either field. Now, it doesn't always time up. Sometimes it does, which is pretty strange, especially if the quarterbacks make the same throw.
That's my first read.
Yeah, it can look like, you got one to your left and one to your right. You're kind of looking out of both sides of your eyes. You can see the same play, and you can see
chameleon eyes,
exactly.
Both fields over there.
It was like I said earlier. It was tough today when we went to the indoor and they had it split by one field, so you're kind of turning back and forth. But it is a good way to do it. I think it gives you double the information that you would get if you just one guy goes, next guy goes, one guy goes, next guy goes. So I don't think this was something that Ohio State invented, doing split fields.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
All right, we'll give them credit. They invented it. It was a genius idea.
Ryan Day invented split field practices, just specifically for quarterback competitions. Tony Gerdeman of Buckeye Huddle. He's going to recap day 1 of Buckeye Camp with us here in 2 minutes. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
Skyline is introducing a new chicken chili. Come get that world-famous Skyline flavor you love with a new protein option. Try the new Skyline chicken chili on Waze, Coney's, and all your Skyline favorites. At Columbus Skyline locations only while supplies last.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
They're trained. They're prepared. Let's do it. They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Are we drinking the scarlet and gray Kool-Aid? You bet we are. You're listening to the Buckeye Show.
My good friend Patrick Murphy in with me tonight. And right now, we're going to head out the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Check with our other great friend. He is a Buckeye Huddle. Tony Gerdeman. Hey, Gerd, thanks for the time. Who's the starting quarterback at Ohio State this year?
Well, that's a good question. This year, the most recent, Will Howard.
Yeah, okay, that's a good answer.
Well done. Well done.
Can he come back from the Steelers, Gerd? Yes or no?
I think I wouldn't be shocked if he starts some games for the Steelers this year. But no, his eligibility, I think, is completely used up now.
So just let's pivot off the quarterbacks, because we were just listening to Ryan Day talk about them today and really not saying anything as you would anticipate day number one of fall camp. I think the biggest takeaway for everybody, if you were out there at the Woody today or if you were just following along on social media and reading stories like most people tend to do, was that Edric Houston went down, looked to be a lower leg injury. Pete Thamel of ESPN tweeting out around the top of the 7 o'clock hour that it does not seem to be serious, which is terrific news for the Buckeyes, Gerd.
Yeah, not dissimilar to Tyleik Williams, was it last year, the year before, where he was hurt on the first day and then, rolled his ankle and then just worked his way back to get ready for game week and things of that nature. So, yeah, obviously they'd love to have him out there because they are thin up front, but they believe that he is their starter, so they think they can get him going well enough in maybe a shorter amount of time. I wonder, as we're talking about this, does this do for the defensive tackles what the illness on the offensive line did last year? Where
it's like you're reading our minds, Gerd. This is great.
That's scary. I'm gonna have to go. I'll talk to you guys later. But it gives them, it gets some guys some more reps, and they can hopefully build on that.
Tony, obviously the other news that came out that's sort of relates to Ohio State, Washington Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin asking for a trade. You're a Chicago Bears fan. Beam's a Chicago Bears fan. Mm-hmm. What would you trade for Terry McLaurin?
What do you got? Well, and the thing is, you always see these guys that they want a bunch of money and then they get traded for a second or a third round pick. Shoot, go do that if anybody's willing. But it's so frustrating for Terry McLaurin, who's the nicest guy in the NFL and deserves everything that he's not getting right now. And he finally gets a quarterback, and Washington's like, you know what? Sure, we have the money because we have a rookie quarterback contract, and they could spend some money. And to not do it for that guy, he's one of the guys that even when when he had other contract disputes, like early on before he got the big one, and fans were like, they're on his side. The Washington fans are on his side like through all of this, and that tells you the kind of guy he is. That they still support him, even though like this is going on.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It'll be interesting to see, Gerd, because I remember exactly what you were talking about, and that was like the all-time low approval rating for Dan Snyder, and it was like the tipping point where fans were revolting against them. So it will be interesting. Is it Josh Harris who now owns the Commanders? I believe the Josh Harris Group, like how they are able to get a firsthand account of the city's love for Terry McLaurin. So, yeah, who knows what's going to happen on that front. We'll get back to Buckeye practice from today, though, Gerd. What else kind of stood out most to you? What were you watching? What were you glued on to?
You know, one of the things I was watching was just the guys that we haven't seen in the spring. Bo Atkinson getting here in this, after the spring, Turbo Rogers, those kinds of guys, just getting the first look and trying to set a baseline, or a guy like C.J. Hicks, who we didn't, who has gotten bigger, I thought noticeably bigger since the last time we saw him. So this is always an opportunity to just the first look, the baseline, and then you can kind of judge from where you go there. I thought one of the interesting things that I saw today was Davis Nigbenosin as a coach on the sidelines. He was coaching up the freshmen. So when we were inside on the sideline, he's talking to Fahim Delane, freshman safety, about certain coverages and what to expect and what he's going to do in those coverages and what Fahim Delane needs to do in those coverages. And then another one where freshman corner Jordan Woods was in coverage and IGB yelled at him, like, if you're going to press somebody, get your hands on them. Mm-hmm. And so, it's just interesting to watch the seniors kind of lead the freshmen around on the first day.
I brought up Davis and Igbenosin earlier. It's like you listened to this and just came on and talked about this. Something we haven't talked about, these wide receivers, Gerd, and we know obviously the main guys, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis. I was standing right by you when we watched Mylan Graham make a nice catch. We know what Quincy Porter did in the spring. How deep do you think this room can go, and how do you think it will go? Because I think those may be different questions.
Yeah, I think they are. And I think they have a two deep at each receiver position, because Bryson Rogers, is the backup right there with Brandon Ennis at the slot. Mylan Graham is Carnell Tate's backup. And I think Quincy Porter might be Jeremiah Smith's backup at the X. But then, everybody can kind of play a bunch of, any of the positions in terms of the starters. The starters can move anywhere to allow one of the backups in. But it's also, I kind of feel like I'll believe there's a rotation from Brian Hartline when I see it in terms of a deep rotation.
Right.
But you keep watching Mylan Graham, and you're thinking that guy would start anywhere. Like, why, let's get him on the field and see. But, that's what we saw in the spring. That's what we saw in day one in fall camp. He hit the wall last year, and I think he's gotten over it and, enrolled late in June. So now it's like this is really kind of his freshman and a half year, and I think he can play, and I'll be a little surprised if he doesn't. He
is Tony Gerdeman of Buckeye Huddle with us here in the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. I saw our very own from 10 TV, Adam the King, tweet out a nice video of Max Clare catching a pass. What did you take away from the tight ends, Gerd, and what they were working on today?
One funny thing that I did see was they were in the 12 personnel. They had two tight ends lined up together, and I think it was Max Clare and Max LeBlanc weren't quite doing what Keenan Bailey wanted them to do, so he sent them on a lap around the field, and then Keenan Bailey and freshman Nate Roberts got down and did the drill instead. But
so Keenan should play, is what you're saying?
Yes, a little undersized, maybe more of the H type, but I think this is maybe the deepest room in the country of any position, because Bennett Christian looked good today, and he's continuing to grow as a leader. And of course, I think Max Clare is going to really eat when you got defenses that are so focused on Jeremiah Smith and the rest of the receivers. And Will Kazmarek, Keenan Bailey called him in the spring the best blocking tight end in the country, and he's a guy that would catch 20 passes a year when he was at Ohio. So I didn't even mention Jelani Thurman, but there's a lot there, and I think Nate Roberts, as a true freshman, has a really bright future. I don't know that it's going to happen this year, but this is a deep room, and I think maybe the most amazing thing is Keenan Bailey just keeps them, and they don't transfer out when they have an opportunity, but he also plays them. You may not get 40 snaps a game from everybody, but you'll get some meaningful snaps, and he'll play you. Like he played Patrick Gerd a bunch. That's me and Pat's favorite player. He played him, and we were there. great name. So it's a deep room, and Max Clare is maybe the best of the bunch in the country.
Yeah, I think they had 4 tight ends on the field near the goal line against Notre Dame. So like they do play in rather large situations.
And Brian Hartline's 5-star wide receivers were
It was
over
a
there
great. It was a great line from Keenan Bailey as they have a little office rivalry going on. Who's going to get on the field late in game situations? But let me ask you this, Gerd, like reverse engineering the Texas game, or really just the Ohio State offense this year. If you're a defensive coordinator, what do you do? Because, I mean, we know the power that the wide receivers have. We know the power, what we expect the running backs to have. This offensive line is one of the deepest and the best in recent years in school history. Like, how do you, for a lack of better terms, how do you go about stopping this offense? And I know we have questions about the quarterback. We'll get to see that over the next couple of days, and we'll get to experience that through fall camp, who emerges as a leader and potential starter for this team. But, like, what do you do when you add a piece like Max Clare and you have to cover everything else as well?
Yeah, it's not easy. I think that's why the key to pass defense is the pass rush, and that's the first piece of it. And just confusing the quarterback, whatever it takes. And then, if you're throwing some blitzes in there, you better tackle. But I think changing the picture for the quarterback is going to be huge for especially Texas. That first game, that's a tough ask for the quarterback at Ohio State to make your first career start against Texas with some of the best pass rushers in the nation. But I just think that's the easiest thing is to, like, what's the weak spot? It's probably the quarterback. So try to impact the quarterback. Now, Ohio State's offensive line, I think, is going to be pretty darn good. So that's going to help. But yeah, in terms of you sure bracket Jeremiah, but then if you leave the middle of the field open, you've got Max Clare, you've got Brandon Ennis, and if you've got Carnell Tate in one-on-one coverage, they're going to take that all day long. So I'd maybe play a bunch of zone, keep stuff in front of you, and then just tackle, and again, get after the quarterback and change the picture on him.
We're a ways away from the Michigan game at the end of the season, but you are the Ohio State Beats resident Michigan guy. I don't know if that's the right term. I don't know what you like to refer to yourself as, but tell me why Sharon Moore is pretending like Bryce Underwood isn't going to be the starter for the Wolverines, and what do Buckeye fans need to know about this freshman?
Well, I think the reason why you pretend that he's not going to be is because maybe you don't want him to be in those first couple of games because you've got the game at Oklahoma. And so maybe then you go with the more experienced guy in Mikey Keene and until he loses it, and then you can turn to Bryce Underwood.
The Terrell Pryor.
Right. And I think that was maybe game 4 against Troy when they did that after they came back from the loss to USC. So maybe that's how they do it. But in terms of what Bryce Underwood is, I saw him in person at a high school skills camp, and he throws the ball different than anybody else at that camp, and it was pretty decent. And it's big arm, a big kid who's added some weight. He can move around. He's like a created player, basically, and yet he's still a true freshman. And anytime you're starting a true freshman for a handful of games, they're going to lose a game that you shouldn't. That's just what happens because they're still learning on the job. But he also has the ability to make any play. You just don't know if that's going to be this time or next game. I think I would be pretty surprised if he doesn't start at least 7 or 8 games this year just to get ready for kind of next year. And but yeah, I mean, he's the future of the program, assuming there is a future.
Yeah, well, at least monetarily, he is the future of the program. As well. Gerd, always appreciate the time. Thanks for popping on with us here tonight. Have a great couple of days out at Buckeye Camp tomorrow and Saturday, and we'll check in again soon, all right?
All right, talk to you guys later.
There he goes. Our guy, Tony Gerdeman of Buckeye Huddle, with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. What's Brian Hartline saying about the quarterback battle? I'm guessing probably not much, but we'll do that in #Buckeyes next. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Common Man here for Germain Lexus of Dublin and Easton. My guys at Germain are celebrating their biggest pre-owned sales event of the year. Tons of vehicles on the lot for you to choose from, and they're ready to deal. It's also the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event with rates as low as 2.99%. I was riding in my Lexus on one of our hot summer days, and I felt the crisp breeze of cold air on my cracky. Don't you want that for yourself? Of course you do. Germain Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
It's child's play to donate your car, truck, RV, or boat to Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central Ohio. They'll pick it up free of charge, steer you through the paperwork, and a hefty tax deduction rolls your way as you help provide a home away from home for families of seriously ill, hospitalized children. For more information about donating your vehicle to Ronald McDonald House Charities, visit rmhc-centralohio.org or call 614-CARS-HELP. That's 614-CARS-HELP.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Soy has been keeping secrets, and it's ready to share. Soybeans are among the most versatile agricultural products. They are used in creative ways you may have never realized to make products we all love and use every day. Ohio is leading the way, developing new uses for soybeans to support our changing world. Soy low-key slays, and I'm here for it. Learn more about soybeans at soysecrets.org. This ad brought to you by Ohio soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Experience the ultimate gridiron experience at the Ohio State Football Training Camp, presented by Safe Flight, Bob's Discount Furniture, and Weber, happening at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center July 31st through August 2nd. Don't miss your chance to get the first look at your Ohio State football team. Bring your friends and family and dive into the excitement with inflatables, giveaways, and more. Tickets are limited, so get yours today to ensure you don't miss out on the fun. Visit universe.com/OSU Training Camp 2025 to purchase your tickets today.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hello, big voice guy here. I've been hired to tell you all about the Fan's YouTube channel. Did you know you can immerse yourself in Buckeye goodness like Austin and Burb's daily podcast, The Beat? Yes, sirree, Bob. Subscribe today.
Got one of those days that never stops? Try a stop at Speedway. Refresh your fuel tank, refresh your U-tank with 69-cent large big gulp drinks. And refresh the vibe for any drive. Refresh at Speedway with 69-cent large big gulp drinks with speedy rewards and try exclusive Mountain Dew Infinite Swirl flavor for a limited time only. The convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 8/26/25. See app for full terms.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio!
Right now, save up to $434 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Social media can be a cesspool. Allow us to navigate the waters. #Buckeyes.
Sponsored by the Waterworks. Call the plumbing, heating, and cooling technicians at the Waterworks and header today. Call 614-232-2222. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Yeah, it was a busy show for us today.
It really was.
You know, we had all kinds of stuff going on. We had a reaction from Buckeye Camp day number 1. We had an injury we didn't think we were going to get an update on. It happened to be a good update from Pete Thamel of ESPN saying that Edric Houston, it's not a serious injury. We had Terry McLaurin request a trade. We had all kinds of stuff happen here this evening.
And you told me this was going to be easy. Now we had to talk about all sorts of stuff.
Once there's a lot of stuff going on, Pat, it is easy. It's fun.
No, it's great. And look, we're talking Buckeye football. There's not much better we could be doing right now.
No, there's not a whole lot better. And you know what might be even better than talking football? Listening to football, because we have the Hall of Fame game coming up at 8 o'clock between the Chargers and the Lions.
I love the Hall of Fame game. I know most people don't.
I unfortunately I won't be able to watch at least the first couple hours, but I'm with you. Like people are like, football's back, and then you realize that no starter is going to play in this game, and people lose interest and like quit watching after 10 minutes or so. Like not me. I usually we get live football on TV from the NFL. I am in, and if you want to see the majority of early training camp battles, watch how desperate those players play in the end of the third into the fourth quarters. Like that'll probably be the best football that you see.
It's make or break for a lot of those guys.
100%.
You watch Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Matt Patricia in one of the clips from earlier today, he was talking about, the worst day of the year is cut day.
It's awful.
And you want to be, if you are one of those guys that's on the fringes, you want to be the guy that gets told the good news, right? And a game like this,
you don't want to text. You don't want to call from the coach.
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to show whatever you can in games like this. And, you and I mean, we obviously do this for a living. We're nut jobs. Our friend who likes the Buffalo Bills, who shall not be named, he and I have had this conversation before. He's like, "What? You don't need to watch this game." I'm like, that's what I do, man. Yeah, I just want to watch sports all the time.
I watch, I listen, I read.
Yep.
Like everything about it is what I do.
Yes, that's it. So I'm excited for the Hall of Fame game. Is it the best football we'll watch in terms of like quality?
Yes.
Well, maybe. But
this month it is.
This month for sure. Yeah. I don't know. I watched. We had some CFL on while we were over at.
We did. That was good football too.
Yeah. So
different football, but good football.
Yeah. Plus, it takes place in Ohio, which is awesome.
Right up here in Canton. It's great. It's the traditional start to the football season. What's better than that? Start your day out with some Buckeyes camp and then finish it with the Hall of Fame game. So we'll get to that here in about 9 minutes or so. Pat, here was Brian Hartline. He was on T-Bone and Tyvis. He'll be on Morning Juice tomorrow. And then Matt Patricia, who was on Morning Juice today, will be on T-Bone and Tyvis tomorrow. So they're doing the old swap. Yeah, the old switcheroo. We've been talking about quarterbacks a lot this hour. Brian Hartline, offensive coordinator now. Here was his thoughts on the quarterback battle taking place at Ohio State.
First, recognizing that we have that kind of situation. Make sure the platform is there so where these guys can perform at their best and really allow the competition to play out. Put these guys in fair opportunities and the amount of opportunities and just so being conscious of it is probably number one. Number two is just letting the guys be them. I mean, honestly, as a coach, you should be able to sit back and just, make sure you have a good criteria, what you're looking for, so you're not just pulling from the hip. But a lot of these guys compete and provide the platform as a coach, but then just, be real and honest and let it rip. But I think that, more than anything, and Taz will tell you, like, the locker room knows. I think when you stay connected with the guys and you keep getting feedback, I mean, again, it's not to attack anybody. Our responsibility is to put the best players on the field as many times as possible based on situations, all those different things as we can. So it's their job, frankly, to build the depth. I mean, we don't dictate anything. They earn it. And that goes for the quarterback position, too. So we have to just do a good job of building a good platform so they can do what they do. That's really our biggest responsibility.
And again, it's day number 1 of fall camp. It's all about that, right? I mean, it is tired as it seems to say. It's about building the bricks in your foundation, which, again, I saw Ohio State is going with.
They're
that
doing it again.
Caden Curry was the first bricklayer of the season for them.
Yes, which is great. And there's been a lot of Kenyatta Jackson hype because of some stuff that was said at Big Ten Media Days, and rightfully so. But let's not forget about Caden Curry. And I know people are excited about Bo Atkinson and Logan George, but that's a guy who you don't get to lay that first brick if you are not doing the right things over at that place. But to what Brian Hartline said, I mean, first of all, go back to what we heard from Ryan Day. Like, a lot of the same stuff, which tends to happen when you guys work together, but also just re-emphasizes what Ryan's saying. The guys in the locker room know. That's something you always hear with quarterback battles, right? And they usually know before anything gets announced, right? And it
I would hope so.
Well, it just becomes before even the coaches tell them, hey, we've named our starter.
They know. You can't fool the room.
Right, exactly. And so that's something, again, like I was talking about with the huddle earlier, like that's something you can always keep an eye on if you get the chance to watch some of this. But look, I think they got to let this play out as long as possible, or as long as it has to, I guess I should say.
Yeah, as long as it runs its course, right?
Right. And Ryan Day said, like, you definitely want to have a guy going into Texas, but you can't just force a guy because you have a big game week 1. especially in today's college football, where as big as that game is, and as much as it matters, you're the defending national champions, all that, you've got to have your right guy. And you don't want to go into that game and lose a guy because he plays poorly, and then you have to go to the other guy, and now you can't get the other, the first guy back.
Can't re-engage.
Exactly. And you'd like to think that guys can handle that no problem, but you just never know until they're in those situations.
Yeah, absolutely, Pat. And not to say that the quarterback competition can't be won 10 days from now, right?
Correct.
I mean, we've said, well, we hope we don't think it's going to be announced in 10 days. It's not traditional, but it could be. Some guy could just easily make a breakaway and then stay ahead of the rest of the pack. Here was one more from Brian Hartline. We talked about identifying and developing leaders. Jeremiah Smith, a attendee to Big Ten Media Days. Here was Brian Hartline's thoughts on Jeremiah's growth in that capacity.
Really organically, I think he's been still who he is. He is a by action type of guy first. He leads by example. And then, again, when I encouraged him, everyone's encouraged him. It takes a village around here. But, hey, listen, when it's boiling and it's really bothering you, man, just let it come out. Don't hold it back. You don't have to search for it. You don't have to, be someone you're not. Just keep doing it the way you do. But then just that internal plug that you used to have and not say anything. Just let it come out. And but no, he's done a great job. He's been put in leadership opportunity roles, and he's embracing it. So, he's growing as a player. He's growing as a person, and ultimately that's what we're trying to accomplish here.
We talked about the next evolution of Jeremiah Smith. It's that, Pat. It's that. It's the leadership aspect. We know that he's got all the traits. He's got the work ethic. He's got the mentality. It's just being able to verbalize some of it. You don't need to do all of it. Like, I would not characterize Sonny Styles as a loud and boisterous guy, and I wouldn't have characterized Cody Simon like that. But when it mattered the most, those guys were out there, and they're becoming the leaders on their team, and that's a growth process.
Right, and I think you just have to find the way that you lead, and that's going to be the thing for Jeremiah. And it's different. I've talked to guys about this before, like, you were a leader in high school because you were just so good. And guys, a lot of times, unless you're on a team of studs, like, guys are just going to follow and try and do what you do. This is different. You have to lead in a different way. And you have to learn how that works for you. And Ryan Day said it today, like, the quarterbacks, for instance, they saw what Will Howard did as a leader, but they can't be Will Howard. They have to be themselves in that and use what he did.
Pat, have a great weekend. I'll be back with you next week. Austin and Berm hosting the show tomorrow. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy all the camp coverage. We got live football up next on The Fan.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use law enforcement siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention. Like telling you if you get a speeding ticket, it doesn't end there. You have to pay expensive fines. You can't go to your friend's wedding because that also costs money. And your insurance rates could increase. See? We didn't have to use law enforcement sirens after all. Getting a speeding ticket has consequences. Sooner or later, speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
Let me ask you something. Is your money doing everything it can for you?
I don't know. How would I know?
Is it automatically saving for special events and keeping you posted on its progress? Like at Huntington Bank?
Oh, no.
Is it tracking your spending so you can make the best choices at the mall?
Nope.
Or setting limits on your teenager's debit card?
Definitely not.
Then it could certainly be doing more.
Yeah, sure sounds like it.
Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome. Eligibility requirements apply. Some features may require enrollment.
Hello, I'm Ross Bjork, Senior Vice President and Eugene Smith Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletics Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donato's, Kroger, The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, Huntington, and 10 TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in our great state through the Buckeyes Care Initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag BuckeyesCare.
The Donato's $5 Pizza Pals menu is adding some pals. Donato's savory and delicious family recipe meatballs are now on the Pizza Pals menus, along with new Oreo twists. Sweet, delicious pull-apart twists with real Oreo cookie pieces drizzled with vanilla icing. You can order unlimited $5 Pizza Pals with any large pizza. So order today and load up on all the Pizza Pals you want. Donato's, gotta love more.
Come on over to Hartland and
Join our family.
Now, community banking is the lifeblood of the American financial system, building strong, lasting relationships. We're just better able to help guide you down life's road. Flexibility is paramount to success. Community banking is alive and well in the Heartland. I'm Scott McComb. Come on over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro